Hi, I'm Assistant Professor Aditi Mathur, International Schools of Business Management, Suresh Gyanvia University, Jaipur. And in today's video lecture, we'll be learning how to calculate WACC or WMCC so that we can have overall cost of capital. So let us just have a quick recap on all the lectures which we have studied in the cost of capital. That is how to calculate cost of debentures, cost of equity, cost of preference shares, cost of loan, cost of retained earning. And now all these elements will be useful for us to calculate overall cost of capital. So what is WACC or weighted average cost of capital? The weighted average cost of capital is calculation of the firm's overall cost in which each category of capital is proportionally weighted. That means these all costs, that is your KE, KP, KD, KL, and KR, they are proportionally weighted so that we can get overall KO. All the sources of capital, which includes your common stock, preference share, bonds, any other long-term loans, debentures, and your equity, your retained earnings, are a part of your WACC calculation. So your WACC is defined as weighted average cost of various sources of finance. So what is the formula of calculating WACC? To calculate WACC, you need to multiply KE with weight, then add it with the KD of weight, and then KP of weight, and so on. That means you will be adding up the weights and the cost product of all the sources of finance which you have in your organization. It might be sounding you confusing, but let us just understand the calculation of WACC with the help of this statement. Students, please make sure that whenever the questions of WACC come in the examination, you solve with the help of this table, because it is very clear to understand how the overall cost of capital is calculated. All the things will be given to us, and it is easy to even recheck the answers if in case you are getting any wrong answer. So the first column of your table shows the sources of funds, in which all the sources of the funds are written. If it is equity, preference, debentures, long-term loans or other term loans, and retained earning. Then you write the associate amounts over here and the total capital. Then you write the weights. So let us just learn how to calculate the weights. For that, let me take an example. Let us assume that there is a company which have equity share capital of 2 lakhs, preference share capital of 1,50,000, debentures of 50,000, term loan of 1 lakh, and retained earnings of 50,000. So let us just add and get the total amount of capital. That is your 2 lakh plus 1,50,000 plus 50,000 plus 1 lakh, sorry, plus 1 lakh plus 50,000 again. So your final answer is the total capital is 5,50,000. Now let us just calculate the weights. When I say that we have to calculate weight, that means we have to find out the ratio or the proportion of the particular security in the overall capital of the company. That means you are going to divide the particular securities amount with the total capital amount and get the weight. So let us just first solve the weight of equity share. So in this example, to calculate weight of equity share, we will take 2 lakhs, which is the total equity, divided it with 5,50,000. So your answer is going to be 2 lakh divided by 5,50,000, which is 0.363. Right? Now, let us just use the same method to calculate the weight of preference share. So for the weight of preference share, you will first take 1,50,000 divided it by 5,50,000. And your value will be 0.272. Right? Now let us just do it for the debentures. It is 50,000 divided with 5,50,000, which is equals to 0.090. Now let us just do it for the term loans. That is 1 lakh divided by 5,50,000, which is equals to 0.181. And for the retained earnings, again, it is going to be 0.090. Now let us just check whether the addition of all the different weights is equal to 1 or not. So 0.363 plus 0.272 plus 0.090 plus 0.181 plus 0.90 is equals to 1, right? So that means that we have identified the proportion of a particular security in overall cost, overall capital of the firm. And with the help of this weight and the cost associated with the securities, which we will be calculating with the help of KE, KP, KD, KL, and KR, we will simply multiply the weights with the cost and multiply it and then add them up to get our overall cost of capital. So let us just assume that after tax cost of equity is, let's say, 10%. For preference, it is 8%. For debentures, it is 15%. For term loan, it is 15%. And for retained earnings, let us just assume it is 0.7. Right? So now let us just multiply each of them. That is 0.363 into 0.10, which is going to be, it is equals to 0.0363. Now let us just multiply the weight of preference with the cost of preference after tax, that is 0.272 into 0.08, which is equals to 0.0217. Now for the debentures, it is 0.090 into 0.15, which is equals to 0.0135. For the term loans, it is 0.181 plus 0.15. It is 0.331. For the retained earning, it's 0.07 into 0.090, which is 0.0063. Now we will add all these weighted costs to get total cost of capital, that is KO. So let us just start adding, that is 0.0363 plus 0.0217 plus 0.0135 plus 0.331 plus 0.0063, which is equals to 0.4088, which is equals to approximately 40%, 40.88%. Right? So we have learned, it was a fake example, so you can just learn how it is just a fake example so that you can learn how to calculate weighted cost of capital. So now you let's just see this table in which what we did, we first written all the sources of fund, their amount, and calculated the individual weights, right? So security divided by total capital, we will get the weights. Then we written down all the cost after tax of each securities. Individually, we have multiplied them so that we can get weighted cost. And when we sum them all together, we get our total cost of capital, that is KO. And this method is known as WACC, that is weighted average cost of capital. And now let us just look at the formula. See, the formula is also that. What you were doing, you were multiplying the individual cost of the security with its weights and adding them with the others securities value. And this is how you were calculating WACC. Right? So now I do hope you understood what is this formula all about. So I'll always prefer that if you use this table format to do the calculation, because it becomes easy for you to do calculation and it gives a clear picture to the evaluators that how you have calculated the weights, how you have calculated the different cost, and then weighted cost and total overall cost of capital. So now let us just discuss few important points before we begin with our lecture. So before text and after text are the two elements which we have to always take into the consideration. Always, always, always remember that we need to calculate the cost of capital after tax only, right? So the after tax figure has to be calculated, because of which we take the tax calculation into the consideration in the case of debentures and loan. But in the case of equity share capital, preference share capital, and retained earning, we already have the cost after tax. And we know the formula how to calculate the value which is there with us before tax into after tax. That is, simply multiply it with 1 minus t. Right? So before we start with a question, let us just have a quick recap on all the formulas which we have studied till date. That is, cost of debentures. If we talk about the cost of debentures in the case of redeemable, then our formula is dividend, sorry, interest plus RV minus NP divided by N whole divided by RV plus NP divided by 2. And when we have to do it after tax, just simply multiply it with by 1 minus t. If it is the case of irredeemable, it is interest divided by NP or MP market value, which is given into 100. Again, to do it after tax, multiply it with by 1 minus t. Now let us just see how to calculate KE. We have 6 methods to calculate KE. So we can use either the dividend yield or the earning or the realizable or the CAPM model. Any of them can be used to calculate the KE. If we talk about the case of preference share, then again we have two options, that is redeemable or irredeemable. If we talk about the redeemable, it is dividend plus RV minus NP divided by N whole divided by RV plus NP divided by 2, right? And in this case, we don't have to give any tax effect because it is already after tax. It is just because of the case of the debentures and loan, we learn how to do the tax effect. In the case of redeemable, irredeemable, in the case of irredeemable, we take the help of D and divide it by NP or MP into 100. Right? Now let us just have a quick recap to calculate the loan. It was the value pre-tax percentage into 1 minus T. For the calculation of KR, it is K into 1 minus T into 1 minus D. Over here, T is for the tax of shareholder and B represented the brokerage rate or the commission rate, right? And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was the quick recap to calculate the cost of debentures, equity, preference shares, loan, and the retained earning. So now let us just go ahead and solve a question so that we know how to solve the questions and how to calculate the overall cost of the capital with the help of WACC. So let us just first read the question. The question says that the X Limited has the following share capital on 31st March 2014, in which they have given us the sources of their capital, that is equity share capital of 40 lakh, in which 20,000 are equity share capital. Then it is 16% preference share capital of 10 lakh rupees, 14% debentures of 30 lakh, and overall capital is 80 lakh. The company pays dividend at the rate 10%, and we have to calculate the overall cost of existing capital structure. So as I have said, we will first prepare a table, and with the help of the tables, we will be solving the questions. So let us just first prepare the table. Sources of fund. Over here, I'm using abbreviations, but I request you all to not to use the abbreviation. Please use the full form. Equity share capital. Equity share capital. Then we have preference share capital, and then we have debentures. After that, we will write down the overall amounts, that is 40 lakh, 10 lakh, 30 lakh. Overall, it is 80 lakh. Then we will calculate the weights. How to calculate the weight? Individual amount of the source divided by total capital, we will get the weight. So it is going to be 40 divided by 80, it is 0.50. For preference share, it is 10 divided by 80, it is 0.125. For debentures, it is 30 divided by 80, which will be 0.375. And to recheck whether your weights are correctly calculated or not, you just add them all together and check whether it is coming to be equal to 1 or not. It is always supposed to be 1, because if you will multiply total or divide total by total, it will be 1, because the base is your total capital. So the overall weights has to be equal to 1. Now let us just write the different cost after tax. So after tax cost. So as we know that the preference share is 16%, it is directly after tax, so we can write 0.16 over here. Then we even know debentures over here. They are also given to us, which is 14%. So we will write it 0.14. Why we are not doing any tax calculation? Because we are not given any tax rate. That is why we are assuming these figures which are given to us, they are already after tax. And that is why we are not calculating the tax effect on it. And then for the equity, it is, we have to calculate, but it is already given 10%. That is the dividend rate is 10, so 0.10. And now let us just calculate weighted cost. How? 1 and 2. Let us just multiply 1 and 2 and get the weighted cost. So over here it is going to be 0.05, and when we multiply 0.125 into 0.16, we will get approximately 0.02. Then over here when we multiply 0.375 into 0.14, we will get 0.0525. And when will we add up, it is going to be 0.1225, which will be equals to 12.25 percentage, right? So it is the one of the very simplest and the easiest method, and the way if you draw the table and do it. So always first column will be your sources of fund, then the amount of that sources, then the weights, then the after tax cost, then we multiply and call it as weighted cost, sum all the weighted costs, and your overall cost of capital is in front of you. So let us just check the correct answer. Yes, the correct answer is also 12.25%, right? And the same way it is being drawn. And I expect you all to just make sure that you always use pencil and scale in the examination and in your notes. Please don't just draw the lines without the help of scales. Now let us just solve another very important question to understand, how to calculate back when you are given two situations. So from the following capital structure of a company, calculate overall cost of capital using book value weights and market value weights. So in this case, they have given you two valuation of your sources of fund. One are your book values and another one is the market value. And you have to calculate the weights on the basis of both, that is book value and market value, and calculate cost of capital individually. So let us just make it case 1 and case 2. So we will be calculating cost of capital in case 1, taking into the consideration the book values, and in case 2, we'll be taking care of the market values. In the question, they have also given us the after-tax cost of different sources of finance, and they have clearly given you, directly given you the rates. That is for the equity share, it is 14%, retained earning, it is 13%, preference share, it is 10%, and for the debentures, it is 5%. So now let us just start solving the question. So first of all, we are going to solve case A when we have to use book values. So again, the same performer, that is your sources, equity, share capital, retained earnings, preference share capital, and your debentures. Let us just write the amounts, that is 45,000, 15,000, 10,000, and 30,000. Now we will have over here our overall amount, which is going to be 1 lakh. Now let us just calculate the weights, and then we will be calculating after tax, and over here we will be having our weighted cost, right? So now let us just start writing the weights. So the weight for equity share capital is 45 divided by 100. It is 0 0.45, 0 0.15, 0 0.10, 0 0.30, which is equals to 1. After tax rates are also given, that is 0 0.14, 0 0.13, 0 0.10, and it is 0 0.05. Let us just multiply them up and get our weighted cost. So 0.45 into 0.14 is equals to your, let me just change the ink, 0.063. Then 0.15 into 0.13 is 0.0195. Then 0.10 into 0.10 is equals to 0.01. 0.3 into 0.05 is 0.015. Let us just all these, let us just add all these weighted average cost so that we can get the overall cost of capital. So it is 0.063 plus 0.195 plus 0.01 plus 0.015. It is 10, 0.1075, which is equals to 10.75%. Let us just check the answers. Yes, it is 10.75%. Right? So in this method, question, the different way is used, but I always recommend you to use this way to formulate the answer. Now, let us just solve it when we have to use the weighted uh, weights with the help of your market value. So the only difference is that the this this will change, because of which our weighted cost will also change. So let's solve the question. So in the same way, you can calculate it for the part B, that is for the market value weights. You have to just write down all the market value, then calculate the respective weights of the sources, then multiply it with the after tax, and then add them all together, and you will get the answer. So I have already solved the question, and this is the solution. When you will do it, you will get it as 11.61 percentage, right? Why we don't have over here your retained earnings? Because in the question itself, the value for the retained earnings in the case of market value was zero, because retained earnings are for the book records, they are not for the market values. We cannot calculate the market values. Now, what do we mean by marginal cost of capital, or the weighted marginal cost of capital, which is your WMCC? So the calculation of the cost of capital focus when the firm's total financing and its package of financing is given and remain constant. However, in practice, the investment proposals may require funds to be raised from the new internal or external sources and thus increase the total funds also. When this happens, the cost of capital of the additional fund is known as marginal cost of capital. So there are many cases when the firm borrow new money to take into the consideration of the new projects. And when we borrow the new money, at that time we use the weighted marginal cost of capital. So let us just start solving the question. And before that, let us just discuss few points related to weighted marginal cost of capital. The WMCC for any firm depends on several factors, and therefore the calculation of the WACC is typical exercise is a typical exercise. The following variables affect the WMCC. The first one is the investors may perceive any increase in business risk. The second is the financial risk of the firm may also change as the result of change in the composition of the capital structure. The third risk is, or the third difference is, increases the marginal cost of capital and thus some of the proposals may become unviable. So the assumptions associated with your WMCC is that the WMCC is calculated on the basis of market value weights. So the first point is for the difference of your WMCC and WACC is that in average you can calculate it with the help of both market values and the book values. But when we talk about the calculation for the WMCC, then we only take into consideration the market values. Why is that so? Because the new funds are raised at the market values. The specific cost of capital can be accurately calculated. Let us just solve this question. In the example number 29, the following information is provided in respect of specific cost of capital of different sources along with the book value and the market value. So they have equity share capital, preference share capital, and long-term debts. The overall cost is given and the weights also are given to us directly. That is the weight of the book value and the market value. So you don't have to calculate the weight. They have already given to you. You have to just multiply it and get the overall cost of capital. There are two parts in this question. The first one is to calculate the WACC with the help of the book values and the market values. So let us just first solve the part A to calculate WACC, that is WACC, with the help of book values and the market values. So first, let's draw the table. We have sources, equity share, preference share, long-term debts, the book value, weights, the market value weights, and then the overall cost of the different associated sources. Let us just number them up 1, 2, 3. So we have to calculate it on the basis of book value and the market value. So for the this column represents the multiplication of 1 and 3. And this column signifies the multiplication of 2 and 3, right? So when we multiply the respective cost with their book weights or the market weights and then add them all together, we get our overall cost of capital. So the WACC on the basis of book value is 14.1%, and for the market value weights, it is 14.74%. This is the simplest part and the easiest part of the question. Now let us just go ahead and understand the part 2, which is to calculate the WMCC using the marginal rates given when the company is intended to raise an additional fund using 50% long-term debts, 35% preference share, and 15% by retained earnings. So that means they are changing their composition, and now we have to calculate the cost of the new capital. So let us just draw the sources as it is given. It is retained earnings, preference share, and long-term debts. So retained earnings, preference share, and long-term debts, their associated weights they have given to us in the question. See 50, 35, 15. So it is 15, 35, 50. Then the cost is also given to us because we know the cost of equity, which is 18, and that will be same for the retained earnings because we don't have any T amount and B amount, so it is going to be same. Then the preference, it is of 15%, so 15%. Long-term debts again 0.7, it is 0.7. So let us just multiply both of them, that is 1 and 2, and get the overall cost of capital on the basis of WMCC. So whenever there is going to be addition or there's going to be the revision in the capital structure, we are going to use WMCC. In this, the everything is given to you, and in majority of the questions they have already given to you the informations. But there are the questions in which you have to first calculate maybe the cost of equity, cost of preference, cost of dividend, and then later on put the figures in this table and then solve the question. So I request you all to just keep on solving the questions which are given in the book so that you can have a good practice on the different formats of the questions associated with the WACC and WMCC. So before we wind up, let us just have a very quick recap of what we have learned today. So today we have understood how to calculate WACC, that is weighted average cost of capital. For that, we learned how to prepare a table to calculate the overall cost of capital. In the column 1, we write the sources of fund, then the associated amounts, then we calculate the weights. I have taught you how to calculate the weights. Then we write the after tax cost, then we multiply it, and which we call it as our weighted cost, that is we multiply the weights with the after tax, and then later on we add them all together and we say it is your weighted average cost of capital. This is the equation formula given to you, that is the individual cost with their weights and add them all together and you get your WACC. But I prefer to use the table format to solve any question. Then we also understood the concept with the help of two examples, and then we discussed the marginal cost of capital or the weighted marginal cost of capital, WMCC. We also discussed the factors affecting WMCC, the assumption associated, and we solved a question in which we saw that the company raised the additional fund, and then we learned how to calculate the WMCC by using the rates and the weights which were given to us in the question. So let us just have a quick recap of all what we have studied till date in cost of capital. And I have prepared 10 MCQ questions. Do hope you can get them all corrected. So all the best and let's start. So your question number 1 and question number 2 are on your screens. Question number 3 and question number 4. Question number 5 and question number 6. Question number 7 and question number 8. Question number 9 and question number 10. So now let's just discuss the answers. The correct answer for question number 1 is option B. Question number 2, it's option E. Question number 3, it's option A. Question number 4, it's option B. Question number 5, it's option A. Question number 6, it's option C. Question number 7, it's option A. Question number 8, it's option D. The question number 9, the correct option is A, and for the question number 10 also, the correct option is option E. I do hope you have learned how to calculate WACC, WMCC, and have understood how to calculate the weights, how to use the formula, how to prepare the table, and get overall cost of capital, that is K. Thank you for watching this video lecture. Thank you and happy learning.